I'm Harper. I married my husband and we were blessed with 2 sons. My husband was into investing as a hobby, so I often listened to him talk about it. But that chapter of my life came to a sudden close. In the 30th year of our marriage, my husband passed away due to illness. Our sons had already moved out, leaving me alone in a big house. One day, my eldest son Lucas came over with a proposal.
Mom, why don't we live together?
Lucas had been married for 12 years. His wife Ava, while sometimes condescending, was a responsible daughter-in-law. They had a daughter, my granddaughter Mia, who was very fond of me. I thought Lucas's proposal could create a more secure environment for me, so I agreed. That's when things went downhill. 2 months later, Lucas and his family moved in. My workload doubled. Ava did nothing and dumped all the housework on me. Initially, I complied without resistance, but after 5 months, I was fed up with her laziness. Ava, could you please help with Mia? Whenever I spoke up, Ava would roll her eyes and say, "Why don't you do it? You're just an old fogey who does nothing." The figure of Ava laughing out loud was really ugly. Ava treated me like an old fogey and dumped all the housework and childcare on me. Sure, I wasn't working, but Ava wasn't doing anything either, even though she was also a homemaker. I didn't want to complain to Lucas, fearing it would be seen as tattling and not knowing what Ava might do in retaliation. After nearly a year of living together, Lucas came up with another proposal, to make it a 2-household home. This didn't mean tearing down the house. It meant building a separate space for me on the extra land we had.
Considering your needs, Mom, a single-story house would suffice.
Sounds good. I agreed, lacking the confidence to continue living with Ava. Construction moved quickly. It was fast from there. It seems that they had already talked to the construction company, and they immediately built the house I planned to live in. The new house was more like a storage room built at the edge of the property. Ava even remodeled the main house to her liking, but I said nothing, grateful to still be close to Lucas and Mia. I thought if Ava took on her roles as a mother and wife, everything would be fine. I was wrong. Ava continued to make me do all the housework and would disappear when Mia came home, only to return minutes before Lucas. I ended up doing all the chores for their household. I didn't want to make Mia suffer, but I wasn't happy about it. Ava had no intention of changing, and I had given up. Then Ava dropped a bombshell. "Mother-in-law, you should leave," she said. I was stunned, unable to think. "There's no point in you being here. We're living in this house now, and you're just a useless old fogey. Maybe I'll turn your new house into my hobby room," she sneered. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I had been doing all the housework, helping Mia with her homework and taking her out when she had no school. I never interfered with Ava's daytime activities. Why would you say that? "Because you're in the way," she snapped. Those words made my blood boil. I wanted to tell her to leave, but I couldn't because of Mia. Ava seemed to know that I wouldn't kick her out because I cared for Mia, and she smirked at me. "Where should I go?" I asked, holding back my anger. "That's not my problem. Figure it out yourself." Ava turned away, leaving me on the verge of tears. That day, I told Lucas what Ava had said to me.
I see.
Lucas's words were indifferent, showing no surprise at what Ava had said. I instantly realized I had no allies here.
"You think I should leave too?" "I've heard a bit from Ava about how things aren't going well, and about Mia."
I felt uneasy. I could understand him knowing about Ava and me, but what did he mean about Mia? I had no clue.
Mom, why don't you care about Ava? Mia is Ava's and my child, and Ava loves her.
What are you talking about?
Ava told me you've been letting Mia into your room to badmouth her, to turn her against Ava.
I had never done such a thing. Whenever Mia asked where Ava was, I always dodged the question, saying she was out. I never spoke ill of Ava. I never said that! I raised my voice, irritated. Lucas looked shocked for a moment, then his eyes narrowed.
You're always so harsh on Ava. She cries every day. When I said I talked to you, she begged me not to, saying it was her fault.
Lucas stood up abruptly and yelled at me. I was overwhelmed and lost for words. I had never seen Lucas this angry, and I could see he was desperately trying to protect his family. Anything I said now would probably be futile. I decided to leave quietly. While I was looking for a new place, I got a call from my second son, Noah.
Mom, if you're okay with it, why don't you come live with us? Isabella also wants you to come.
I was taken aback. I remember Lucas's offer to live together after my husband passed away. Noah's wife's name is Isabella. Isabella is considerate and always cheerful, a lovely person. I'm sure it won't turn out like it did with Ava, but there's no guarantee it will work out. I don't want to be a burden on you.
Don't worry about it.
Just as Noah said that, I heard a rustling noise and someone saying, "Give it to me." Mother-in-law, I've always wanted to live with you. Our apartment isn't big, but we have a spare room. Why don't you come try living with us? It was Isabella's cheerful voice. I felt relieved and decided to stay with Noah and his wife for a trial period. I planned to stay for about a week, packing only a few things. When I left the house, Isabella was waiting for me in her car. She waved and ran over as soon as she saw me. Isabella took my bags and we smoothly got into the car. 30 minutes later, we arrived at Noah and Isabella's home. As I entered, Noah greeted me at the door. We chatted about trivial things at first, but then Noah's expression turned serious, and Isabella's did too. I looked back and forth between them, confused.
Mom, why did you suddenly say you're leaving the house? That's your home with Dad.
I guess so. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but could it be about Ava? What? I was surprised to hear Ava's name from Isabella. I thought so. Isabella sighed deeply, as if confirming her suspicions. What do you mean? Isabella began to explain her past relationship with Ava. From the first time they met, Ava had been cold and distant. It escalated, and Ava even claimed that Isabella was treating her harshly and spreading rumors about her. I had my suspicions too, but I never thought Isabella would do such a thing, so I brushed it off. Hearing this, I felt I could be honest with them. I told them everything. Noah and Isabella listened quietly. Never interrupting, I felt like crying. When I finished, Isabella patted my back and whispered, "You've been through a lot." That was enough for me. I decided to live with Noah and Isabella. Are you done packing? While I was packing, Ava appeared smiling. Her face looked triumphant, and it irritated me. I'm leaving now. I packed my last bag, walked past Ava, and left the house. 3 months later, I received a call. The caller ID showed Ava. I hesitated but answered since I was alone. Ava sounded frantic. At first I couldn't understand, but she was saying they couldn't pay their loan. Their savings were gone, and Lucas might divorce her due to her spending habits. She begged me to talk to Lucas, saying it would upset Mia otherwise. I headed straight to my old home. Entering, I saw Lucas yelling and Ava crying. When Ava saw me, she ran toward me, almost collapsing.
Mom?
Lucas noticed me and looked shocked. Both of you calm down. Let's talk. I sat them down at the table. I've heard some of it from Ava. What's this about not being able to pay the loan on Lucas's salary?
Well, we should have been able to.
What do you mean? Your father left enough money to pay off this house. There shouldn't be any loan.
Actually, we remodeled the interior when we built your house, and it cost about $100,000. We took out a loan for it.
I knew that. I had told Lucas it was fine since I paid for my own single-story home. But Lucas has a job, and a $100,000 loan shouldn't be that hard to pay off. So why can't they?
Turns out Ava has a lot of debt, and when we pay that off, there's nothing left from my salary.
What? I looked at Ava in disbelief, and she seemed to shrink back. Could she really have accumulated such a large debt? How much are you short?
About $1,500 if you include living expenses.
That much? I had thought it would be around $400 or $500 at most. $1,500 isn't something you can just save up by cutting corners. Ava, since you're the one who made this debt, how about getting a part-time job? What? It's not an amount that can be covered unless Ava starts working. I suggested a part-time job to Ava to show her the reality, but it seemed she didn't like the idea. All of this happened because you left, mother-in-law. If you had continued to give us money for living expenses, we wouldn't be in this mess. I was baffled. Why should I, who moved out, have to financially support a self-sufficient couple with a child? I was so stunned, I couldn't find the words.
What are you talking about? This is what you wanted, isn't it?
Even Lucas, usually so composed, yells at Ava in disbelief. You could earn more too, Lucas. Why do I have to work? It's your job to earn money to protect the family, not mine. I was truly shocked. Why would she say something like that? Ava, a family is supposed to support each other. If there's a problem, we should help each other out. What? Why do I have to listen to this from some irrelevant old woman? You old fogey.
Ava!
Again with the old fogey. I've been living with my second son and his wife, and I haven't been a burden to my eldest son and his wife at all. Why do I have to be insulted like this by Ava? Fine, if you're going to say that, then I'll give this to Lucas. I placed an audio recorder and a large envelope on the table. Lucas and Ava looked puzzled as they peered inside. The first thing Lucas picked up was the audio recorder.
What's this?
It's a collection of all the things Ava has said to me. Yes, when I decided to move in with my second son, Isabella suggested I record my interactions with Ava. I never thought it would come in handy like this. Lucas slowly pressed the play button. Mother-in-law is so slow. I told you to clean up, you old fogey. Useless, incompetent. The voice playing back was all Ava's. Ava's face turned pale.
What is this? You've been saying these things to my mom?
Lucas had been manipulated by Ava, so he probably never expected to hear this. This is... Ava's voice weakened. I quietly moved the envelope in front of Lucas as well.
What's this?
Open it. Lucas slowly opened the envelope, revealing a stack of photos and a document. All the photos showed Ava with an unknown man.
What?
I had hired a detective because Ava was dressing up and going out almost every day since I moved in with my second son. It was more than a woman's intuition. I felt she was clearly having an affair. I was able to catch her in the act quickly and heard various stories from the detective. It seems like you've had a long-standing relationship with this man. You've been financially supporting him too, haven't you, Ava?
You...
Lucas's face turned beet red. Why are you doing all this? You're really an old fogey. Be useful for once. Instead of explaining herself to Lucas, Ava lashed out at me. Lucas, infuriated, stepped in front of me to hold back Ava, who looked like she was about to attack.
My mom is not an old fogey. She's done so much for us. You're the one who's a parasite, harmful to both Mia and me.
Lucas. Things moved quickly from there. No one sided with Ava, not even her daughter Mia. Lucas announced he was filing for divorce, and Mia decided to live with him. Per Mia's wishes, Ava was not allowed to see her daughter again and had to pay a hefty settlement to both Lucas and me. Ava had become pregnant with Mia soon after she started dating Lucas and had married without ever entering the workforce. So finding a job was very difficult for her. I saw her walking around town recently, and she looked emaciated, like she could collapse at any moment. But considering what she's done and how Lucas and Mia must feel, I can't muster any sympathy. After that, at Lucas's strong request, I moved back to my original home. Now, I'm doing my best to support Lucas and Mia. Both of them cherish me, and we often gather around the dining table with my second son and his wife. I'm truly happy.